Thank you, everybody. Appreciate your attention. Happy to come before you on a, I guess, hot summer day in Agra. It's very hot in Washington, D.C. also, very hot. 36 will be today, 37. So, two things, smart city and smart village. We'll look at the building blocks of both of them and see what are the synergies between a smart city building block and a smart village building block. So my thesis is we can learn from the city people like you and me, learn from how things are done in villages and how the collaborative lifestyle in a village can be brought back to the city so we can have a more stable, less resource required system to live in. That's the whole idea. Now, I'm happy to see this is a faculty development program of your institute, and I am available at the end to answer questions. If you want to know more about my research, I've given you my website at the bottom of my screen, www.srahman.org. It has this slide deck and many other talks I've given in India in the last few months. All of those are there. So be my guest to look at those if you're interested. Now, we are engineers. Anytime we hear a new term, the question comes up, what is it? How do you define it? We talk about smart city, but there's no single definition of smart city anywhere. But we have some consensus. We understand what this means, and we try to follow those overall understanding to build a smart city. Even though there is no consensus definition of a smart city, but some understanding. One is, smart city is one in which information technology and communication technology, ICT, facilitates improved insight into and control over various systems that affect the lives of residents. Keyword, this ICT improves insight into how people live, how they behave, what they expect. Insights. If you don't know what people expect, you can provide a service for them. That's the smart city's starting point. Okay, now, if we then expand that, so I am saying here, a smart city is an urban development vision, is a vision to integrate information and communication technology and Internet of Things, IoT, in a secure fashion to manage cities' assets. I'll give you examples of what I mean by assets. So this is the thing. You're managing the assets through ICT and IoT. That means for a city to be smart, it has to be connected, right? IoT and ICT connecting hospitals, fire department, schools, mayor's office, library, shopping center, all are interconnected. So you know what's going on. For example, if there's an app, you go to shopping mall, you go there, long lines, a lot of people. I usually go at late at night, 9 o'clock before the mall closes, not many people. So if you can have an app, it will show you how busy the shops are, stores are, you can avoid busy times, unless you like to be with people and everybody's around. Okay, now, so what are the building blocks of a smart city? Well, first of all, on the left-hand side, smart care, hospital, healthcare, obvious. Smart energy. You want your electricity to be reliable, to be, I guess, less costly, and available when you need it. That's smart energy. Smart society. We talk about people living, working, enjoying the environment. So they have to get information about all those aspects. I'll give you an example in a few minutes. Smart office. Your office should be comfortable, should be healthy, and should be a good place to spend. You spend half of your waking hours or most in the office environment. People IT, they spend more than that. Smart mobility. You don't have to have a car always to go between places. I lived in Tokyo some years ago. I didn't have a car, and no problem. In Tokyo City, without car, perfectly fine. Not true in Washington, D.C., by the way. Smart space. Your parks, your zoos, Your place for enlightenment, enjoyment should be easily accessible. Now, so what are then the range of deployments, in a smart city? Range of deployments. Well, cities across the world are deploying technology to gather data, trying to become cleaner, reduce traffic, improve urban life. This is true in many Indian cities today. In fact, Indian government has a program on smart city. I'll give you the map in a few minutes to see what's going on. Where do we start? Start with energy management, meaning you provide electricity, gas, whatever it is, at the least possible cost and most reliable fashion. That's energy management. To disaster preparedness, cyclone, flooding, heavy high heat, how you prepare for those. Public safety, that's police, ambulance, and so on. Parking spot assistance, very important in the US. You go to downtown for a meeting, you have to park your car by the street. They're usually parking meters, but very difficult to find a blank spot easily. So we have apps now which will tell you if you're driving in one road, on the side road has a parking spot open. You go there directly without having to look for it for a few minutes. Paying bills online. We're doing this already in India, I'm pretty sure. Facilitate emergency vehicle movement. When an ambulance comes, fire truck comes, they blow their siren. People move, some don't move. I'll show an example here in the US where we are providing added access to fire trucks, sometimes buses, to go through traffic without having to stop. So what are the elements of a smart city? Here I have three pictures. On the lower right-hand side, fire department, New York City. When a fire truck leaves the fire station, it has to get to the target as soon as possible. If there's traffic on the left-hand side, traffic like this, hard to go through. So we have now solutions for this problem. I'll explain that to you in a few minutes. On the lower left-hand side is again New York City, one avenue. Cars are going in one direction, obviously. If you've been to New York City, it'll be interesting to watch. If you are on an avenue going at 30 miles per hour, roughly 25, 30 miles per hour, that's about 40, 50 kilometers per hour. If you get a green light, you always get all green all the time, all green. There's time so that a car driving at 40 kilometers per mile will take this many seconds to go between light 1 and light 2. That's how this program. There's no sensing there. It works. That means if you hit red light, you hit red light and you'll stop in red light for some time. That's one. On the lower upper side, upper left, is my building at Virginia Tech, where I have, you see the light post with a light on the top, and about halfway or 3/4 of the way down is a yellow box for stopping traffic. If I'm standing there, I press the button, then after a few seconds, traffic stops, I go across, and after 20 seconds, 25 seconds, lights go green, cars stop. This is okay, but think about this. I'm one person, want to cross the street. That road is 4-lane, 2 up, 2 down. So every minute, about 70, 80 cars are going through, every minute. If they stop for 30 seconds for me, I stopped 50 cars, 40 cars, and they're waiting. So there should be a priority. If I'm only one person waiting, let me wait for maybe 2-3 minutes, not right away. 10 people waiting, you should go right now. That's a sensing issue. That's a smart city deployment opportunity. Let's focus on the technology for how we make fire engines, fire trucks have priority on the road. We call it optical based traffic signal preemption system for emergency and transit vehicles, buses and fire engines. Ambulance on the right-hand side upper picture has an emitter, I said the yellow writing, emitter near the flashing lights. That emitter sends a signal maybe 100 meters from the light that I'm coming. Then the light you see on the lower right-hand picture, the 9th Street, that's my street where I work. The traffic light, red, yellow, green. On the left-hand side is that sensing equipment. It senses the signal sent by the fire truck and turn the light green for it. If it is red, turn green. So this is, if you see the technology on the upper hand side, both the transit bus or the fire truck emits signal I'm coming 100 meters, 150 meters away. The detector you saw on the bar with the traffic light on it detects it, sends a signal to the box, usually under the lamppost, which controls the light. And the box says, turn it green for you, for this fire truck. Goes on. Similarly, buses have priority, but they have no siren. They can't do that like a fire truck or police car. They will have to stop. Some buses are also equipped with this priority signal preemption system. It'll do the same thing, send a signal, confirmation device, and so on. What do I mean by confirmation device? It will tell the fire truck, yes, I got your signal, you can go. If fire doesn't know, he or driver will think it is not there. So they have to be confirmed. That's working today. It's a part of smart city applications. Now, connected transportation. Could be in Agra, could be in Delhi, could be in many Indian cities. In this case, connected vehicles and travelers will be able to share data with all sorts of equipment and able to procure mobility as a service. We call e-mobility, right? Example, Washington, D.C. This is a ride and a car sharing program called Zipcar. Zipcar has many locations, as you probably some of you may know. The car is locked and left there. You use an app. The app, if you have a member signed up for the service, car opens for you. And then you drive the car. Go wherever you want to go. In many cases, you don't have enough street capacity to drive the car all the way to your target building. You park maybe 100 meters away or 200 meters away. You can walk, or there's a bike stand right next to where the car is parked. Again, the bike is app enabled. You go there, press the app, bike unlocks, you go. That's an example of connected transportation. That was Washington, D.C. Vancouver, Canada has similar things. You have the public transport, the train. Tram comes in, you stop at the tram station, rent the bike, and go where you want to go. This is an example of how a city bus gets priority to cross over to the avenue. This blue bus came from the right-hand side of my screen. It was running late. The policy is, it's the yellow box at the bottom of my screen. System allows buses that are more than a minute behind schedule to automatically receive priority at traffic lights. This bus came in from the side road, right? Light is red, cannot go. Bus is late. Let not wait this bus. So the bus comes in, comes close to the light. It knows the bus coming in, bus is late. It turns the light green for the bus. Other cross traffic will stop. That's a working example in Stockholm, Sweden. I mentioned parking spot assistance. This is Atlanta City in this example. This lamppost has a lamp on the top. You can see on the right-hand side. There's cameras mounted on the lamppost below the light. Camera is scanning the space around it. As you scan the space around it, what happens? You see by the streets, by the sidewalk, footpath, empty spot. It broadcasts that information about empty spot to an app, and you have the app on your, as you drive, you see exactly what location, what street, what side street, there is an open parking spot. Saves time and headache. Smart trash can, an example. Again, giving you elements of a smart city. What are smart cities doing and what they can do. Baltimore, near Washington, D.C., and where I live, this is a trash can pickup scheme. Typically, trash cans in a park or a roadside have a lot of paper or plastic, typically. They fill up pretty quickly. So The municipality people come in twice a day in the morning and evening and do the trash. This is not always the case that trash can be full, but they have to come anyway. They come, the truck comes, spend the gas or diesel, come in, two people usually there, their time is valuable. If we could know whether the trash can is full or not, we can decide to or not to come. So this is an example of a sensor in the trash can, which looks at the level of trash in the trash can and sends a signal when time to empty it. That way, they don't have to come every day, twice a day. They come less. Again, example in a second. Next is Stockholm, Sweden. Same idea. One thing more, this dustbin has a trash compactor. If you put plastic and paper all the time, fills up. But it's paper and plastic. You push it down, you get space. That's called a compactor. As the trash can fills up, it compacts, goes down, saves space. As a result, see the difference. Before, these trash cans had to be emptied 1 to 3 times per day, depending on the traffic. The smart one needs to be emptied 4 times a week. Talk about 3 times a day, week 21 times, now become from 21 to 4 times a week. It is compacting and sending a signal to the city office. If it is not full, don't come. Simple things, but makes a big difference. Example, other parts of the world, in Japan, Yokohama City near Tokyo has an extensive smart city program. I'm not spend time here with you too much, but look at these things. EMS, HEMS, electric vehicle, BEMS, FEMS. For example, CEMS. This is downtown, like your central business district, commercial energy management system. These are all applied to large commercial buildings. They are managing the light, heating, cooling, and so on. HEMS, like your and mine homes, home energy management system. Smart city cannot be just on the street. It has to be deployed in all the buildings in the city, so they have to be smart buildings. Of course, we have EV, electric vehicle charging station. We have facility energy management system like factories, godowns. BEMS on the lower left, building energy management system. So all this is happening in Japan. My example is simpler. This is my research at Virginia Tech, where we are doing building management systems, smart buildings. Example here could be your campus, multiple buildings. Each building has a program to manage the building's heating, cooling. My list of items on the right-hand side. HVAC stands for heating, ventilation, and cooling. Lighting loads, plug loads, sensors, water meters, rooftop PV, storage batteries, security camera. All those are being monitored by this management system. And these are all in the cloud, internet. Each building has their own account, and the campus energy manager can look at every building and see what can he or she do to reduce energy consumption in this building. Example, very simple. If you want to know more, there is a company who has commercialized www.bemcontrols.com. Go to their website and learn more if you like. Okay, now, India. Indian government has put a lot of money to many cities, in this case about 60 cities in the country, where they have put a lot of money and a lot of ideas, and so Agra on this list, in fact, because your city, Agra is here in the list. So Agra got money from the central government some 3 years ago now. I don't know what they have done with it, but we can ask the city mayor's office, what have you done with that money? What is the smart city component in Agra? Look for that. Again, point is, it's happening in many parts of the world. So now we talked about what is normal, traffic, transportation, power plant, all that on the left-hand side. Power plant, traffic, and this is the bottom left is your food movement. This is the grain movement. It's happening today. Right-hand side is a new normal, meaning rather than buying or transporting a lot of coal-fired power from a remote location to Agra, you can put rooftop solar in buildings in Agra and reduce the need for outside power. Not zero, of course, reduce the need, possible. Second example is, this is, the top example is in the US. The middle one is in Morocco, North Africa. This is public transportation. If you provide high quality public transportation in the city, people will use it and they would not have to drive. You can avoid the traffic on the streets. That's transportation. The lower right-hand side is an example of growing vegetable indoors. This is in New York City. They're growing leafy vegetable called hydroponics. They're literally growing lettuce and leafy vegetable like other vegetables in thin air. No, not much dirt, not much soil. Proper ventilation, moisture, fertilizer, and watering as needed. This is how the growing lettuce in New York City can be consumed locally. Typically, lettuce comes from California, which is 5,000 kilometers from California to New York. It takes 5 days for the truck to come in, 4 or 5 days. That much diesel is being burned. The lettuce, when it comes to New York, is already one week old, not fresh. But this is happening. That's I call new normal. We can focus on that part. Now, that's the discussion on smart cities. Let me now move into smart village examples and see what synergy I can show between those two. So in summary, smart city, connected city talks about employment, healthcare, retail business, entertainment like your stadiums, your movie theaters, public service, which is your police, ambulance, and so on, homes, residences, energy distribution, and transportation. All of those are, we live with these things. But as I give you examples, so how can you make a traffic more easily manageable by putting sensors like the fire truck or the bus I showed you examples. So anyway, so we are using ICT technologies. They transmit and process data about all sorts of activities in a city. Example, this parking spot location app. It is watching from the lamppost what the street openings are, transmits that information to the network, and I have an app I figured out. That's an example of what we can do together. Now let's look at the smart village examples. This is in Nigeria, Africa. IEEE is doing a lot of work on smart village. India has a good example of smart village. I'll show you a picture in a few minutes. So this IEEE program on a smart village in Nigeria. So you can see on the lower right-hand side, the shop has a LED light. There's kids starting at night using electric light. So because of the lighting opportunity made available, it illuminates kitchens, schools, and clinics. People go there, let people live a cleaner life, safer life, and more prosperous. And as a result, stimulates local commerce and builds new enterprises. More business, more employment. Nothing short of that. So Bangladesh, called solar nano grid, very advanced idea in a village. What they have done, they have connected about 50 households in a village using local internet. Why is that important? Because they have to know the demand for every house, and not every home has a rooftop solar. Some do, some don't. Some have batteries, some don't have batteries. What happens at night? Those are the challenges. They have a kind of a small powerhouse on the lower left-hand side, 3 kilowatt solar rooftop, battery bank, and some technology to manage it. So they're sending signals in real, video comes up in a few minutes. They're sending signals back and forth of every house. I have some solar, I'm okay. Some other houses, I haven't got a TV, I don't have enough battery capacity. they'll buy power from a neighboring house. Very interesting idea. In a village in Bangladesh. Point is, it's not technology, not very high tech, but it works. So they can pay the electric bill using smartphones. Everybody is happy. Good. Now, coming to India now. This is Ladakh, upper northern Indian parts of the country. The IEEE put some resources to electrify part of a village. Now these girls can have internet, they can study, they can Google, I guess, they can find answers to their questions, which their teacher could not give them always. So this is allowing a network of engineers, entrepreneurs, and practitioners to have business and make money, but helping lifestyle of people who are disadvantaged. So because of IEEE involvement, we are providing these examples for mentorship so that these village girls don't have to depend on a technician from a city to go there and fix things. They can do that themselves. So this is what you call innovative global classroom. Why global classroom? The data, the content she's looking at can come from Germany, come from Japan, doesn't matter, right? So this is how we can bring the world together. Coming to this, we had an expedition called Global Himalayan Expedition in India 4 or 5 years ago now to go to a higher elevation location and electrify a monastery. This is a monastery in Ladakh region. It was built in 1440, elevation 12,000 feet, about 4,000 meters roughly, pretty high. And IEEE Smart Village program 5 years ago now, went there, put solar, put batteries, and you can see the difference. You can see even the street is visible from those LED lights on the monastery buildings. Good. So this is in West Bengal, India. Villagers are working at night, embroidery, these girls or women using light. Otherwise, they can only work during daytime, not every day because of cloudy weather. Example, I did in Bangladesh, some work on rooftop solar for a community center. With the rooftop solar, they can run television, lights, fans, all of that didn't exist before we went in. What that has happened, it is bringing the village people to the community center building, watch TV, discuss their challenges among themselves, and they can be more helping each other more. Bangladesh has done significant work on rooftop solar. In fact, Bangladesh today has over 5 million rooftop solar in villages. This is 50 watt, 60 watt panel, good for a building. Point is, I mentioned before, local people involvement and ownership. You cannot always send technician to a village from a city all the time. They must own this thing. That's the example we are following. What is happening here, look at the right-hand side. This girl was trained to install solar panels on a rooftop. It's a girl in a village is the technician now. She doesn't depend on a technical guy from his town to come and fix it. The bottom picture, again, this is hooked up, wiring is done, charge controller is placed, battery is there, lights on. So what is happening here on the upper next second, let me stop. My Alexa came out. Alexa, stop. Alexa, stop. Sorry about this. Development of local technicians and entrepreneurs at the grassroots level. I know, Rajiv, you're doing faculty development program. Your faculty, I hope, will look at this and do projects with the students. They can go to villages around Agra and see what can be done to make the life easier for the poor village people. That's important. You have the GPRS, mobile phone is there, everybody has mobile. Everybody can buy a I don't know, 10, not everybody, many people can buy 5,000 rupee solar panel, maybe some kind on loan from banks. Do that. Take this seriously, please. What then happens if you develop local capacity and create jobs? Like I see in a second how people are, this girl, she has a job now. Before she was going to school or I know what she did. This is important. Example, this is a village shop in Bangladesh. He has a CFL lamp. This is his quotation. He says, customers love coming to my shop now that I have bright light. They can see what they're buying and what I have in stock. And they can watch TV and charge mobile phones. His business has gone up by 50% with that light. So he's providing a charging service for the local village mobile phone owners. You can buy a mobile phone, you have no power. How do you charge it? We don't know. That's what I mean by green jobs. You know, when you go to a store, you don't know always what you want to buy. You look at it, yeah, I like that. If you can see what is there, you can buy, give me a biscuit, bag of biscuits, or chips. So this is how business grows. I hope your faculty will get this idea and be more productive and useful. Okay, let's move on. So this is an example in Bangladesh. Again, I'm from Bangladesh, so a lot of Bangladesh pictures. Here we have a village library in a boat. This boat has a rooftop panel, solar panel, about 100 watts. It is used to light inside the boat, and the girls and boys come in to the library, they have light. They read there, check out books, and go back. Before, it was not possible. This boat is going from village to village, comes to a village once a week. So there's girls and boys can take the book, check it out, return the, from last week. Very nice. With a solar powered lamp inside this boat. Okay, let's move on. This is an example I have again in Bangladesh for solar nanogrid. If you're interested, please note the website me-soulshare.com. So please note it down, and I'll play a 2.5-minute video. Once you see that, hear that, we can take questions. Let me play the video for you now.
So what we do is we interconnect solar home systems and we enable the energy sharing between them, which is basically trading. And the customer chooses when they want to trade and when they don't. Instead of building large grids, we're proposing a decentralized structure where we start building grids bottom up.
The setup is quite simple. Any home has solar panels and a battery. You buy this special box, which connects them to another house with the same setup. The box allows the buying or selling of energy between the homes. But it gets better.
There is still a segment of the population that still can't afford to buy a solar home system. So instead of doing that, if they can just buy a small soul box, they can just buy energy when they need it. You fill up your soul box with money. As you keep using energy, it deducts money.
What this means is that all the boxes can connect to each other to form a microgrid. It's like a water tank of community energy that people can give to or take from. The beauty is that this microgrid can then connect to the adjacent village's microgrid, and the network becomes stronger and stronger.
There's a mimicking of nature here, isn't there? Like in the way that cells multiply and form something and strengthen. Yeah,
That's a great analogy. You have one solar home system, you interconnect with your neighbors, you make it 50. Slowly you interconnect villages. Once you've collected 100 villages, you can hook it up to the grid. You can sell to the grid. Forget buying from it. You become the primary energy generation source for the country. So the idea is we are like a swarm of bees or a swarm of fish that move together, pool in all our energies together to run bigger loads.
Okay, so let me move on to the next slide. Stop this.
So what we do,
Okay, now coming back. So again, the movie was I hope interesting for you. Now what I've done, I had this definition for a connected city. All I have done in this 6 lines, change the word city to village. It works. Smart, a connected village is one where all relevant village systems, you saw the power from village to village. Transportation, you saw the boat. Employment, you saw the shop. Healthcare clinics, they have internet now. The doctor in the city can do telehealth, as we call that. Telehealth getting very popular in America now because of COVID. Telehealth. And public safety, police, and so on and so. So my point is, because of technology and innovative ideas, people have put in on the ground. You saw the Bangladesh example, Africa example, Ladakh example, in other parts of India. It can be done. So my message is to the faculty members who are listening today, please open your mind, look to the sky. You have unlimited opportunities to volunteer, to be of use to local people in your neighborhood, and feel good about it. That's IEEE's mission, bring technology for the benefit of mankind. That's our tagline. Okay, now, so we are almost done. So this is it. I'm done, Rajiv. I have given you my email address. If I cannot answer all your questions today, please feel free to email me, s.rahman@IEEE.org. I give you my website also. You can come to me that way as well. I'm also Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. I'm everywhere. And I am running for IEEE president this year. So elections will happen middle August for next month. So please look at it. Please vote if you remember. So thank you. Yes.
I have go through your profile and your video, like you have also prepared the video biography. I have go through it and it looks very impressive. And even in my opinion, you are a right candidate for that.
Let's hope to tell your friends they can vote as well.
Yeah, definitely, sir. Definitely. I have a very big IEEE colleagues. So in different states, even not only limited to the Agra.
Right.
We will try our best, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. So let's look at some questions. If there's any question, let me know. Rajiv, you can read the question or they can ask verbally. I'm open to it.
So I would like to invite the participant. If they will ask the question directly to the speaker, they can raise their hand or they can unmute them and then ask the question to the speaker directly. I think that will be good. They will interact in this with this.
Am I audible to you?
Yes.
Yes, you are. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I am
Yes, Dr.
Dr. Gopadhyay. Actually, the presentation was very
You're breaking up.
enlightening homes. And so my question is how to solve the feasibility issues whenever we are connecting smaller microgrids together in rural areas. So how to solve the frequency stability and voltage stability, like these problems can be there?
That's a good question. In this case, in Bangladesh, all DC. All DC. So all this issue of stability and frequency doesn't come up. It's all DC. Because we found if you want to provide AC service, you have to invert DC to AC, and that gets complicated. So that's the answer to your question, so it's on DC system. But I have worked with many entities in India, and some of them are working on DC grid in India as well. So I can give you some connection later on if you like. So the NIT in Kerala is doing that work. Okay, next question.
I will ask the participants, please ask questions one by one. Sir, another important question that I was thinking about the smart traffic system that you have shown there. So in smart traffic systems, can it be possible, means when there may be some emergency conditions, there may be some people who are needed to be hospitalized like that. So how to, means they must be given priority. For that, we have
Right.
to make the traffic system much more smarter.
Right.
So how to deal with these challenges?
Example I showed you near my office in Virginia where I work, there are sensors placed on the traffic light bar, and the fire engine, ambulance emits signals, and they'll turn the light green as it approaches the traffic light. It's not widely available in the US. Some places have it, not everywhere. So this could be a challenge. You can take up this challenge in Agra and just take one street and show to the local municipality what can be done. Sensors are easily available, and usually the PIR sensors, all it does recognizes the presence of this emergency vehicle. Okay, that's a good question. Thank you. Next question.
Sir, one of the participants, Mr. Gopal Gupta, he has asked, renewable energy resources do not have inertia. How can we stabilize the microgrid in case of fault?
It's a very good question. We're facing this now all the time. As you go put more and more solar, especially, what is being done, we call it inertia-less system. We have now big hydro, big coal generator, the inertia in it. See, the load changes suddenly, inertia takes over for a few seconds, and you don't get the voltage dip. If you all your solid state, you don't have the inertia. So now it's not solved problem yet. This is a good question. Inertia is required. We grew up with inertia in the power system. We don't have, or we will have less and less of that going forward. So we have to have electronics to provide the short-term solution. Example, inverters. Today, inverter's job is to convert DC to AC. That's it. If the sunshine changes, cloud comes in, what happens? Your DC output goes down for a few seconds, and then it picks up. That's inertia issue. What they've done in these smart inverters, they put a capacitor in the inverter, capacitor. So when the load is normal, it charges. As the sunshine is slow because of cloud coverage, DC output goes down. The inverters, the capacitor picks up the slack and provides the same voltage out. That's one example of how we can deal with inertia-less system by providing local storage. Good question. Thank you.
So, thank you, sir, for your informative talk. So I think the participants, you can also ask your questions by switching on your audio as well as video. You can ask your questions to the professor.
I think there is another question.
So
I would like to tell a few Indian scenario. Like here, the Indian government is promoting the farmers to install the solar system for the submersible, like for the water pump, and so government providing subsidy for that. As well as the government is providing the subsidy to install the rooftop solar panels in the villages. And in the Assam and Bihar, Indian government, we have around 2,800 houses which have their own solar battery, and the distribution system is the issue over there. And even in 2017, my house, I have also the solar system and battery because I have one house in the village. So that we have to keep about the maintenance, like as a technician, we have to work ourselves because we cannot call the technicians again and again from the city. So, and even I have developed one DC microgrid, a prototype system, which includes the inverters as well as the energy management concept over there, especially on the demand side, which helps to reduce the
Rajiv sir, I have one question. Rajiv
yeah,
sir,
yes,
how are
you
you?
can.
First, how are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm also fine. Sir, I don't get the schedule. Where is the schedule of this workshop?
It's in the group. I think you didn't have joined the
No,
group.
today I joined the group because yesterday I joined this workshop. Nobody was there. In the morning at 9 o'clock, I joined the workshop, but nobody was there.
But I have shared the schedule with the email, as well as I have shared the link with the email to join all the participants in the group, because
I got WhatsApp group, but I didn't get any schedule in my mail.
Because you have joined the group today, so that's why you cannot see the earlier chat. That's the problem with that WhatsApp.
Okay. So now how I will go to the schedule?
I will put it again. No.
Yeah, you can put it. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So this is the situation in India, sir, and I have also the project for the different distribution and resources to integrate from the government of India for that. So, sir, are you there?
Can you hear me? I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
Okay,
any
so
further
now-
questions?
I think no other questions, sir. Sir, this is please accept it.
Thank you.
And this is the appreciation certificate for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.